restaurants, stuff like that, do the same thing for
I think it's fine if they do it. I think frankly, it's good if they do it. I think what Apple did is fine. And want to keep people away for a little while, just keep them away.
Well, Costco
And you know,
did
when
it.
it gets better, well, people are going and buying things, and I understand that. By the way, I had my temperature taken coming into the room.
So did we.
You did? Good.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Let's compare. Do you want to
We
compare?
did all of it, yeah.
Good. Well, that means we're all looking good. I also took the test last
did take
night.
the
Yeah. And I decided I should, based on the press conference yesterday. People were asking, did I take the
When will we have
test?
the result, Mr. President?
I don't know, whatever it takes, a day or 2 days, whatever it is. They send it to a lab.
Why did you
But I
decide
So
to take it?
you've been sending mixed
Only because
messages,
the press
sir.
is going crazy.
Mr. President, respectfully, you've been sending mixed messages. We watched as you shook hands with people yesterday. You have talked about 5 million tests being available, probably won't need that many. Has your own sense of urgency evolved, and are you changing what you're doing?
No, I've been urgent. This is urgent for me right from the beginning. You know that because I closed up our country to China.
But why are you shaking hands, sir?
Because it almost becomes a habit and you get out of that habit. And frankly, I was a non-handshaker for the most part. I never believed that shaking hands once you become a politician. And I notice it too. Political people walk up to me, they want to shake my hand. I said, well, you know,
Mixed message, sir.
just wait a minute. Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax. People come up to me, they shake hands, they put their hand out. It's sort of a natural reflex, and we're all getting out of it. All of us have that problem. Somebody comes up to you, they put their hand out, you probably tend to just shake it. And we're all getting out of that. Shaking hands is not a great thing to be doing right now, I agree. But people put their hand out. Sometimes I'll put the hand out, you don't think about it. People are thinking about it more and more. We have to think about it, it's important. Somebody said yesterday, I touched the microphone. I was touching it because we have different height people, and I'm trying to make it easy for them because they're going to have to touch because they wouldn't be able to reach the mic. They wouldn't be able to speak in the mic. So I'll move the mic down. And they said, oh, he touched the microphone. Well, if I don't touch it, they're going to have to touch it. Somebody's going to have to. So I might as well be the one to do it. But no, we all have to get away from, getting away from shaking hands is a good thing. And possibly that's something that comes out of this. Maybe people shouldn't be shaking hands for the long term because it does transmit flu and other things. You know, we have flu in our country that kills on average 36,000 people a year. 36,000 people. And, you know, that's something that we're not talking about. But as of this moment, we've lost 50, possibly a little bit less than 50, but probably 50 people. And we're going to try and keep that number as low as
Can you
possible.
tell us how you did the test? How did the test go?
Mr.
President, the Pentagon is telling service members and their families not to travel domestically. Should all Americans follow that same advice?
Well, if you don't have to travel, I wouldn't do it. If you don't have to travel, we want this thing to end. We don't want a lot of people getting infected. We want it to end and end as quickly as possible. So far, I think we've done a fantastic job. I really think that the people behind me have not been given the credit that they deserve because they have done a fantastic job. When you see all these school closures, when you see the school closures are very important, but it causes a lot of problems. The bill that we signed yesterday takes care of a lot of those problems with children staying at home and the parents are working. Now we take care of that issue with what we passed last night. Now it has to go through the Senate. I have to sign it, but that will happen. But I'm now going back to the White House. You have great professionals, and if there's anything that comes up, if there's anything,
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to follow up on that. Are you considering other travel restrictions, perhaps domestically,
Yes.
in that regard? Can you describe what type of
specifically
possibilities?
from certain areas, yes, we are. And we're working with the states, and we are considering other restrictions, yes.
Reuters is reporting that you're going to extend the European travel ban to the UK and Ireland on Monday. Is that accurate?
We're looking at it very seriously, yeah, because they've had a little bit of activity, unfortunately. So we're going to be looking at that. We are actually already have looked at it, and that is going to be announced.
You just criticized the Fed yet again. If I could just get a little clarity on your thinking on this. It's been a hallmark of your presidency. You're always going after the Fed. If you feel so strongly about it, why don't you dismiss the chairman, or do you think you're powerless to do so?
No, I think I have the right to do that, or the right to remove him as chairman. he has so far made a lot of bad decisions, in my opinion. We had this great, and we will soon have again, because I think you're going to have a tremendous bounce when this is over. I think there's a pent-up bounce that's going to be tremendous. I think you saw that yesterday with the stock market. Now, I'm not happy with the Fed because I think that they're following, not leading. We should be leading. I'm not happy because if you look at the central banks of other central banks, largely they're lower than us, their rate. And their equivalent of the Fed rate is lower, in some cases by 2 points. In some cases, that's a lot. In some cases, very substantially. And I thought that the Fed would be and should be much more proactive as opposed to following. Our Fed is following. We have the #1 currency in the world by a factor of many times, as you know. We have the currency, we have the power, we have by far the strong currency. Also, you look at the dollar, the strength of the dollar. Our Fed is not doing what they should be doing. We shouldn't have a Fed rate that's higher than our competitor nations. You look at Germany, they're essentially under zero. They're negative. There are many countries negative. Japan is negative, Germany is negative, others are negative, and we're paying higher interest rates. And what I'd like to do is frankly refinance our debt. We could refinance our debt very easily at a much lower rate. We have some tremendous opportunities right now, but Jerome Powell is not making it easy. No, I have the right to remove. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I have the right to also take him and put him in a regular position and put somebody else in charge, and I haven't made any decisions on that. Okay? Thank you.